The final award of the evening is for Best Commentary. It is sponsored by Robert Serio of Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher. The citation goes to Bobby Ghosh of Quartz for what the Iran nuclear deal means for the Middle East. The winner is Mark Lilla for his articles in the New York Review of Books about France in the year after the terrorist attack on Charlie Hebdo.
It's unusual being here since I'm not a full-time journalist. I was asked recently how I earn a living, and I said that I'm a journalist at Columbia University and a professor at the New York Review of Books. Last year I had a sabbatical and I went to Paris to work on a book, along with my wife, the artist Diana Cooper, who's here tonight, and whose photos you may at some point see. I chose Paris for the reasons people choose Paris. I wanted to go to a beautiful place where the food is good, the people are reliably rude, and an eternal city where nothing important ever really happens. I only got half of that right. Instead, I found myself swept up in a collective psychodrama that began on a Wednesday when journalists at Charlie Hebdo were gunned down, went on to a Thursday when a police officer outside of a Jewish school south of Paris was shot down, then to a Friday when customers at a kosher supermarket to the east of Paris were shot down, and then a Sunday when millions of people milled about on the streets of Paris, around France, and around the world in memory of those who had been killed. I've spent a lot of time in France in my life, lived there for years on and off, and I thought I knew the country. But the terrorist attacks of 2015, between the time of the Charlie Hebdo attacks and the Bataclan attacks of November, revealed hidden, dark rooms in the national psyche that I didn't know existed. It's not pleasant to watch someone you love go through a trauma, but it's revealing both about them and about yourself. I discovered a country that, for a whole host of reasons, having to do with globalization, European unification, immigration, religious fanaticism, no longer knows what it is or what it wants. To understand that story, it's important to understand French history, French intellectual life, the arts, literature, and even philosophy. So I sat down to write what I hoped would be not only a story about France, but a story about our time. I couldn't have done it, though, without the patience and commitment of the New York Review of Books, and particularly of its publisher, Ray Hederman, who's here tonight, and its editor, Robert Silvers, who's on a plane to Europe as we speak. This remarkable publication, which is now 50 years old, it's been an extraordinary adventure in journalism and intellectual life in American letters, has made a place for all this time for thoughtful reporting, essays, and reviews that wouldn't quite fit into other publications or news media. We hear a lot of lip service to long-form journalism today, but it's really been the New York Review of Books that has remained the institution where one turns for thinking and writing, where the authors are taking a step back from the day-to-day news to think about how the events of our time fit into a larger picture. I'm grateful to Ray and to Bob and to my sometime editors who are here tonight, Michael Shea and Hugh Eakin, for making room for me. And I'd like to share this award from them, remarking, though, that I will be keeping the money and I will especially be keeping the computer. Thank you very much.